Hello, hello, dear Swarm community and all curious minds who came together to learn even more decentralization tools and tech stacks. I am Migla, here today with the Swarm Foundation. A little bit tired from ETH Prague. We saw many of our community members there. We had over 20 hackathon projects submitted and hacking on Swarm. And some of you even mentioned that you did learn from these workshop series. So that was incredibly awesome to hear that some of our members indeed are following these workshops. And we have come to our final workshop of the series, which is decentralized streaming. And I am personally incredibly excited because it is something that we've been working on in a quiet, and we heard so many interesting ideas for people to build decentralized new Twitch and YouTube and decentralize their own streaming. And I have so many questions as well for the team because it is something that we're working on in the background as a new. So I'm very incredibly excited to see what Levante has prepared for us. So without any further ado, I want to bring on Levante on stage here with me.
Hello, everyone.
Levante, hi, how are you doing? How was your travels back from Prague?
Oh, I'm a little bit tired, but I'm here, fresh, energy, motivated, and I'm really glad that I have the opportunity to present you all of these things because we are working really hard in the last 2 years to make this happen, and I guess we are finally there on track, and we are the gate where we can really come up with solutions, full decentralized, and can spread like wildfire in the community.
Indeed, we were discussing this for over 2 years in the foundation, and it's something that we never felt too confident to share because it was not there at the production level. And I heard that it now has gotten to that level. And I promised that I'm going to ask you this question, which is, then if it is decentralized streaming, why we're not yet streaming our workshop on it? Are we there in the production? Are we ready to for our next workshop series to be streamed in a decentralized fashion?
Yeah, I mean, there are multiple answers for these questions. I guess one of them that I guess we are ready to do this, but we don't have measurable proof, and this is what we are working now, actively benchmarking, stress testing our infrastructure and our solutions, so we can confidently say, not just say, but to prove that it works, and we'll have the numbers. The other thing, that feature-wise, we are only focusing on the core, so the streaming works and stable, and we're just lacking these type of features, what we are using at the moment, switching between screens, bringing one to another, silencing one to another.
Make it nice and fancy, having it all the dashboard. Well, actually, that's something where we will invite our community to build those dashboards. So we give you the backend tech stack, and we hope you guys, showcase your creativity with it. And before every workshop, I ask this question, and I know that it's tricky for answering it. But in order to follow your workshop today, at what level of difficulty you should be preparing yourself? Do you have to be a developer? Do you think someone without developing experience would be able to follow and implement this? Could you give us a little bit of a heads up for what difficulty level this workshop is?
Yes. It depends on what your goals are. So I was thinking a lot about how to structure this workshop, and I came to the conclusion that I'm going to do a presentation when I give you like a kind of verbose introduction about Swarm, WebC storage, streaming, and then our journey, how we started and where we are heading. And then I would like to show you our latest version of the stream. It will be a short demo, how you can spin this up. If you're tech savvy, you can immediately jump and start building your stuff because everything is ready. But if you are not, then basically by just watching this and following these steps, you could already start streaming.
All right. That's pretty kick-ass. All right. So I'm going to follow the workshop as well, and hopefully I will give you some pointers if it was not too technical as well. But we do hope in the audience that the people will get inspired to build their own. We are providing the back-end tech. We do want more people stress testing. It helps us to improve. And if you have any feedback or any questions today, not only you can write comments in all of the different platforms where we're streaming this, but also please do find us on our Discord. I know that our developers, here you go, the QR code is right here. And I know that our developers are constantly checking and are trying to answer and give you any heads up. So if you are today curious to continue building and doing something, the Discord is now one place to share your ideas, to ask for any help, and to get feedback as well. So, all right, without any further ado, Lavanta, I'm super excited. Decentralized Streaming Workshop by Swarm Foundation 2026. Let's go and get started.
All right. One moment, please, guys. So I'd like to share my presentation and make sure it's on. Okay. So let's start. Welcome, everyone. And today I'm going to talk about decentralized streaming. And this is not just solution. This is not just the solution. This is our stream engineering journey. I am going to talk about where we came from, where we are now, and where we are heading. We start with the why Web3 matters at all, then look at what media streaming actually is, and finally walk through the evolution of our own work. From a simple proof of concept to a production version, and of course, what we are currently building. So by the end of this workshop, you should understand both the why and the how of streaming SARM. Just a quick intro about me. I'm Levent Kish. I'm from SolarPunk, tech lead and tech savvy. SolarPunk, technical partner of Swarm. We are building techs, libs, libraries, tools, and now products and services on top of Swarm. At the team, I do a lot of things, but amongst other things, I'm responsible for streaming-oriented projects. Before we get to streaming, we need to talk about the foundation, why decentralized storage exists in the first place. If you already believe in Web3, I guess this is a quick recap. If you are new, pay attention. This is the why underneath everything else in this presentation. There are real headlines from the last few years. All of these companies have huge security teams, huge budgets, best engineers money can buy, and yet breaches happen constantly. I guess the pattern isn't the bad company. The pattern is the centralized data is the target. If you put everything in one place, sooner or later someone gets it. You become a target, especially if you're growing your business, if you scale up. And you can see this list, but just recently, in the last couple of months, I mean, guys, what's happening? There are tons of breaches, not just code-wise, but data-wise too. And these breaches are loud stories, but there are quiet ones too. When nothing is stolen, your data is the product. These are public documented cases of companies selling user data, often legally, often without meaningful consent. And in Web2, control is gone the moment you upload. That's the thing. And I guess this is why Web3 storage matters. I mean, most of these principles and topics could be like entirely separate presentations. I just would like to highlight out the most important ones in my eyes: ownership, transparency, private by default, censorship-resistant, no single point of failure, and fair incentives. And in our case, I especially would like to highlight out two: censorship-resistant. This is the one that should make every streamer in this room pay attention. On Web 2, your entire business lives on someone else's permission. YouTube can demonetize you. Twitch can ban you midstream. A payment processor can decide your content is too risky and freeze your revenue. And here's the thing. You didn't break a law. You broke a policy. A policy that can change next Tuesday, written by a trust and safety team you'll never meet, applied by an algorithm you can't appeal to. On Web's research, this conversation doesn't happen. Your content isn't sitting in one company's data center waiting for a moderator to flag. It's distributed across thousands of independent nodes run by people who don't know you, don't care what you stream, and couldn't take it down if they wanted to. There is no CEO to pressure. There is no single server to seize. The content exists because the network exists, and it's really important. And the network exists because the economic works, not because someone approved you. This is, I guess, it's not a small feature for independent journalists, for creators in countries with hostile governments, and for anyone whose voice is inconvenient to someone powerful. This is what's needed. This is the tool, and we should pay attention to this. It's really important, and especially in the current situation of the world. Now, another important part I would like to highlight is the no single point of failure. This one is less political, more practical, but honestly, it might matter more day to day, especially now. Think about what happened when AWS went down last time. How the internet stopped working. Slack, Netflix, Disney, smart homes, all dark because the modern internet pretends to be distributed, but it's actually a handful of giants buildings in certain data centers. One bad config push, one fiber cut, one billing dispute, and your audiences sees a spinner. On Swarm, your stream isn't living in one building, it's living everywhere at once. If a node in Berlin goes offline, the request just routes to one in Barcelona or Singapore or someone's basement in Toronto. The network doesn't notice, your viewers don't notice. There is no maintenance window. There is no sorry, we are expecting issues status page. The system is designed so that the failure of any individual piece is completely uninteresting to the whole. So I guess it's important to mention where Swarm is in the current stack, because there are other decentralized storages, and I often miss these conversions when I'm watching presentations from other storages. That let me show you what else out there, because decentralized storage isn't one product. It's a whole family of projects, and they've all made different bets about what matters. Let's just walk through them quickly. So when I say Swarm, you understand why, and not just because it's the one I happen to like and work with, of course. IPFS. This is probably the one you heard of. It's brilliant at one thing, content addressing. You ask for a file by its hash and not by where it's stored. But here's the catch. IPFS by itself has no economics. Nothing makes a node keep your file around. If nobody pins it, it disappears. It's a protocol, not a network with skin in the game. Beautiful ID, missing half the picture from my point of view. Filecoin. Filecoin saw the exact gap and bolted a market on top of this issue. Miners get paid to store your files. There are storage deals, there are proofs, it works, but it's heavy. It's optimized for cold storage. Big archives, long contracts, you don't stream a live broadcast of Filecoin. It's a warehouse, not a delivery network. Erviv, it made an entirely different bet in the game. Pay once, store forever. It's elegant for permanence. Historical records, journalism, things you genuinely want to outlive you, but forever is the only mode. For dynamic content, for streaming, for anything that changes, it's not the tool you need. Storage, it's basically S3 with encryption and a distributed backend. If you want to drop in AWS replacement and you trust their satellite to coordinate, it's a perfectly good product, but it's centralized in its coordination layer. The decentralization at the storage tier and not in the protocol tier. And about the rest of it, SIA, BitTorrent, and eStorage, I'll be honest, these are valid, but they're not in the conversation for what we are building entirely. You just cannot really use these for dynamic data usage use cases. So why Swarm? That's the main question here. 3 reasons, and they are the 3 words on the orange box. I would like to highlight, I guess. True peer-to-peer, this is the one most people miss. On most of these networks, there is still some hierarchy. Coordinator nodes, indexer services, gateway operators, pinning companies. Someone is more equal than others. On Swarm, every node does the same job. Storage, retrieval, forwarding, it's symmetric. There is no special infrastructure to capture, no company you have to trust to keep the lights on. It's the only one in the list that actually delivers on the original peer-to-peer promise. And for the postage stamps, this is Swarm's economic model, and it's genuinely clever, I guess. It's instead of paying per download or signing storage deals, you buy a postage stamp upfront. It's a small bundle of paid storage capacity. Your content carries its own postage. Nodes are incentivized to keep stamped content because they get paid for serving it. It means storage and bandwidth are paid openly on Swarm. ACT, access control try. This is really interesting part because Swarm has native cryptographic access control built into the protocol. You can encrypt content, grant access to specific keys, revoke access later, and the storage layer itself enforces it. Not a separate paywall service, not a license server you have to run. The storage is the access control for, and it's really, really good for things like for premium streaming, pay content, member-only material. This is a feature that's really missing from the game. And of course, the feeds let you have mutable references on top of immutable storage. So you can publish latest episode pointer that updates while the underlying content stays content addressed. For live streaming, for podcast feeds, for any kind of channel, I guess feeds are the things how you do it. And if you put together these things, the peer-to-peer, the stamps, ACT, and the feeds, you are not just looking at the decentralized storage, you are looking at the only stack in this list that has everything streaming needs in one protocol. And this is why I recommend you. This is my recommendation. This is why I'm doing this. This is the choice for streaming in this case. And yeah, this was about like Web3 and Swarm in general. But let's shift the gears a little bit. We covered these things, but a lot of people throw around the word streaming, and it's not really obvious what streaming is actually. Just a quick definition: streaming equals delivering media in pieces while the user is consuming it. There are two main types, let's say. The video on demand file exists like Netflix, and live being made in real time like Twitch. Both work the same way mechanically. The source video gets sliced into small segments, typically 2 to 6 seconds long, and the player downloads them one at a time. And this is the model we have to fit onto Swarm. And actually, it's a perfect fit for Swarm. A Swarm already storing data as form of chunks. How convenient is this? The fit just feels natural from the first sight. And before we talk about how we decentralizing things, let's make sure that we are looking at the same thing when we say streaming. Because if you ask 10 people what streaming means, you'll get 10 answers. Some are thinking Netflix, some are thinking like Twitch, some are thinking like a video that auto plays on Twitter. They are all streaming, but the pipeline behind them is kind of identical. I wouldn't say that this is true for every solution, for every design, but in general, this is the main general concept. So let's just walk through of them. Stage one is capture. Capture is where the video is born. A camera, a phone, OBS Studio. If you're a streamer, a screen recorder. If you are making a tutorial. At this point, it's just raw pixels, huge, uncompressed, completely unwatchable over the network. A single minute of this stream it can be several gigabytes, depending on, of course. Nobody streams this. Capture is local, it's on the device, and it's the same on every platform. Encoding is the first compression step. Raw video goes in, and a compressed video file comes out. There are a lot of type of encoders and decoders, usually H264 video and AAC for audio, because they play on basically every device made in the last 15 years. And this is what turns the multiple gigabytes per minute into a few megabytes per minute. Without encoding, streaming just wouldn't exist. The internet simply isn't fast enough to move raw video around. Transcode. This is an expensive one. Transcoding means that you're taking your encoded video and making multiple versions of it at the different qualities. Full HD for a person on fiber, simple HD for a person on a cafe, Wi-Fi, SD for a person on a phone in a subway, and sometimes even less for persons that are in the middle of nowhere with a really shitty connection. And this is what adaptive bit streaming means. Your player picks the right version based on your connection and switches between them on the fly when your connection changes. Packaging, it's a stage that makes streaming actually work. once you have your multiple quality versions, you chop each one into tiny segments, usually 2 to 10 seconds long, 2 to 6, and depending on, of course, the infrastructure and the need. And you write a manifest file. The manifest is just a text file that says, here are the chunks, here are the segments in this order, at these qualities, available at this URL. Two formats dominates the market: HLS, made by Apple, and Dash, which is the open standard. The player downloads the manifest first and then start to pull the segments based on how the manifest describes the instructions to the player. And this is where Swarm becomes, I would say, really interesting. And I'm going to just talk about this later, actually. Let me just jump to the delivery. On Web 2, this is the CDN, Cloudflare, Akamai, Fastly, AWS, CloudFront, big companies with servers in every major cities whose entire job is to put a copy of your video close to your viewers so the latency is low. CDNs are the reason streaming works at scale, and they're also where enormous amount of the cost lives. They're kind of a choke point. If CDN goes down, then you cannot really distribute the data, the stream to your viewers. And Swarm, again, shines pretty well in this field because Swarm has CDN out of the box. Every node is a potential delivery point. When a viewer requests a chunk by its hash, Swarm routes the request to the nearest node that has it. And if many viewers in the same region are watching the same stream, the chunks naturally get cached close to them through the network's normal forwarding behavior. We don't have to build CDNs, it's just there, and it's super, super powerful. And about the box at the bottom, the hard part, transcoding is really expensive and manifests change every few seconds. Those are two pressure points where just naive decentralization breaks down. If you don't solve transcoding atomics, your platform can only stream what publishers can pre-transcode themselves. And of course, if you don't solve immutable manifests, you can't do live. Both of these are real engineering problems, and I'm going to talk about them a little bit later. But let's see our evolution. So how we iterated over the years. We always just gain more and more experience, and with each iteration, we solve different kind of problems. And it is not just an engineering issue, it's not just an engineering problem. This is a journey and a case study of our work around streaming. I remember when I joined Swarm, Solarpunk, then my first task was to find out that Swarm capable of streaming. And I started to build the first application, do the first implementation, only client side, just in the browser, using the browser's media recorder API to capture a stream, encode it there, and upload it to Swarm. And then at the other end, listen on these Swarm events feed, and just download the segments and play the whole stream. And I guess with the V1, we had our biggest success at the Swarm Summit. It was awesome because on stage, I managed to demo the solution, and I guess that gives us the green lights and the feeling that this is something that we should move forward, and came out with better implementation solution. We got some really nice feedback and partners too. And this is how we get to the second version, MSSD, where we already started to think about, okay, we are in the browser and we can do things, but it just lacks a lot of things. You cannot really do proper encoding. You cannot really do proper transcoding. All the things that really matters when you are trying to build highly scaled production-like streaming services. The level is just really high in the game. Netflix, Twitch, TikTok, they just set the bar so high that even if Swarm gives us the capability to store everything properly and access everything properly as a data storage, just building all the features for streaming to make the support for streaming is enormous. So this is what we have started here. With MSSD, we started to give features to give support for OBS, to give support for transcoding, and we started to build a proper interface where we introduced channels and chatting to the equation. And with this version, I guess we had some really good success too. We went to events and we could showcase that we can stream, and people could check the stream on their phone. Voting lived on Swarm, the site, and it was super exciting. And this is how we led to the V3, the third version, MSRS, which was built for Crypto Mondays, an active partner. And for their needs, we shipped features, we shipped certain solutions, and it was, the whole journey was super powerful, but because we learned a lot about streaming, a lot about Swarm, and about the needs, what the community, the people need. And this is how we led to V4, which kind of encapsulates everything that we learned so far. And I do believe that this is a version that if we can test out properly and build the required features that suggested and we learned during our journey, that required for the community and for businesses to work with, then I guess this can be the final version then that we can just enhance to, and it has the potential to spread like wildfire. I'm going to show you, this is the version I'm going to demo you and show you how you can set this up. But first, let me just give you a couple of words about each version. So maybe one version is the one is needed for your use case, and maybe the other is the one you needed for use case. Each version can be a foundation for your work, depending on your business needs, depending on your goals. So V1 is just JavaScript. The streamer's browser cuts video into chunks and uploads them to Swarm. Each chunk Swarm references goes into a feed. The viewer's browser pulls the feed and downloads the chunks as they appear. There are two repositories for here, Swarm Stream.js. At the end of this presentation, I'm going to show you this. And the Swarm Stream React example, there you can see how you can integrate the library and how you can use the library in a client side. And I guess it's beautiful because it works and it's pure client side. The limitation here is the browser can't transcode efficiently. You only can get one quality, and there is no surrounding platform. It's not easy to do things just on the client side, but it's not impossible. So it's already a foundation of another project of ours. Probably we're going to hear that later too. So I suggest you definitely should take a look into this if you want to work only with client-side solutions. And then we have the second version, MSSD. This was a big mood because we stopped pretending that the browser can do everything. We realized it cannot, it's limited. And we added an ingestion layer and started to use tools like OBS to push the stream so we could fulfill requirements and needs that I heard these feedbacks just everywhere during events, that it would be really cool if you could do OBS. So this is how we get the idea. This is why we started to build around this. And yeah, here we have a server that transcodes, that does the transcoding to HLS segment stream, and then uploads the stream to Swarm one at a time, the stream segments one at a time. Here we use a special feature called GSOC. We use GSOC aggregators. Basically, this is how you can do like backend side computation and things through the network. And this is how you can introduce like an application level of feed that can show you the stream list, that can help you build chat on top of everything. And yeah, and on the player side, it's just a custom HLS loader that knows how to pull the segments from Swarm instead of HTTPS. And out of the box, it's a really cool feature too. When the stream ends, the manifest immediately transitions to video on demand. So when you are streaming, you start a live stream, it's live. When it's ended, it's already video on demand out of the box, and it's there. This was the first version that actually felt like a product, and this is what we could use internally in the team. This is what we could demo and showcase and could give out to people to play with and play around it. It was really cool to see this working. And then we had the first production version, MSRS, multimedia streaming restricted solution, and this is what's running in production right now for us and for Crypto Mondays. And here we had to introduce new type of things that we haven't told before, or we just haven't been there yet. Identity management, stamp management, and here we introduced the level of permissions, so only the streamers had the rights to do things. This all comes with a cost of some level of centralization, of course, and it works really well as a software as a service for companies, but in the meantime, it shifts away from the direction that we originally tried to do to make everything fully decentralized. And this is how we get to the wins and the limits. We can see that the biggest wins were here is that full data decentralization. Everything is on Swarm. Nobody can shut this down. If everything dies, of course, if everything dies, everything dies. What I mean, if like most of the big giants going down, the Swarm network is still there, then your data, your content, everything can work. There are no dependencies to any of these big corps, and it has two portability. I mean, I can of course offer you a gateway to check out the site, but if you don't trust us, you want to spin out your own things, just run your node and you can check the site. And of course, it comes with some disadvantages as well. It's still centralized on certain levels. We used aggregators. We had to do our identity coupling, stamp management on a level where we have to introduce gateways and, of course, transcoding. And this is how we get to the new version, which, based on all the feedbacks and all the learnings, we are trying to eliminate all of these centralized factors. And this is the current build. For transcoding, we came up with an entirely new idea that instead of us running a transcoding server and giving you access like how YouTube or other centralized solution can do, let's do a modularized version of this implementation where you can spin up really thin modules to do the transcoding yourself and use whatever you want. If you believe that, I don't know, Open Media Engine is the best transcoding, use that. If you believe that SRS, another popular thin transcoding engine, is for core needs, use that. If you want full decentralization, there is Lightpeer also. I mean, there are a lot of use cases and a lot of requirements for businesses and individuals also. So I believe that us should give you like a full customizable product solution, so you can do whatever you want. And this is how we approach the browser for architecture as well. Come up with IDs, workarounds, and how to play with feeds, so we can entirely eliminate the need of gateways and introduce identities. We bumped into these issues and problems and limitations, and I heard all of you about these things, and there are now active projects on the run that will eliminate this entirely. A separate identity system on top of Swarm, where you can manage your stamps and identity fully decentralized manner. We are building in-browser node implementations, multiple versions, so you will be able to run a node in the client, entire eliminated need of gateways. And here, for the transcoding, you can decide if you want only clients. You can just rely on the capabilities of the browser, and you can do whatever out from the client. But if your needs are higher, then you can introduce your own transcoding infrastructure to the scene. And it sounds really complex, but I'm going to show you that it's really not. And for the resources, I just let you like a minute here. You can read our blogs. You can check out our feeds, informations, and of course all the repositories. If you want to really deep dive, most of these have really verbose and nice documentations that you can email to start deep dive and check them out and use them. But if for some reason you are bumped into the issue and there are problems, at the bottom there where you can find me, and of course not just me, but Swarm, SolarPunk. We are here, we are listening. So just write us, let us know if you have a good idea, if you are just bumping in issues, and we can work on them. Your feedback really matters. And now I would like to switch from presentation to an actual demo. I would like to show you what we have here. So I'm just switching. Oh, give me a moment, please. I'm trying to find the right buttons. Okay. Yeah, it's super creepy, trippy. So I'm just gonna switch here on the repo first. So this is a repository on Solarpunk under Solarpunk's organization, the Swarm HLS stream. And this is a version I would like to recommend if you start the whole journey. This is that we actively start to build. This will be the fully customizable, modularized version, trying to add all the utilities, all the tools, and all the things that can make your life easy with Swarm. Feedback matters a lot, so if it's not, let us know, and we can start working on it immediately. In this repo, I don't really want to go full technical here because the repository is the documentation. The repository is really verbose, and if you're really interested in the code you want to build, then you can just check everything out, and that could be like 3-4 presentations in a row just to let you know how the components are connected to each other. In a nutshell, you can grab any kind of capturing tool. I'm going to use OBS in this demo. At the moment, it's supporting SRT as an ingestion protocol, but it could support others too, depending on what you put here. And we do SRS as an engine, as a pluggable transcoding engine. Here you can bring whatever you want also. And here comes the part that matters most, I guess, that we do HLS segmented streams. I choose this standard because it's widely accepted. It's really mature, and it supports all the devices on the web, basically. So you don't have to. It's a thing with streaming that if you go full custom, then you're gonna bump into these unsupported browsers, unsupported devices everywhere. So it's just better, I guess, to go with the most supported standards and solutions. And for this reason, I recommend using HLS segments and segmented stream. And this is what our stream uploader component supports. It has a nice layer, an HTTP server basically that accepts these segments and then formats these segments that Swarm can consume. It uploads it to Swarm, and then it's on the network. At the other end, you have the client, and the client can play this type of stream. So why I consider this a good solution? Because once the content goes up to Swarm, anyone, anywhere can consume that type of stream. What you need is just a client. It's a really thin client front-end code, pure JavaScript, TypeScript in this case, and a node, of course. If you have your own node and you run the client, you can access the thing, the stream. And from the streaming side, you will see that it's not like a super technical problem to spin up a transcoding engine server and a stream uploader server. But let's assume that I'm a provider and I provide this to you. If I go down, you can immediately spin up your own infrastructure. It's really cool, I guess, because in this sense, I consider this decentralized. Maybe providers can grow out and they can provide streaming as a service, like the infrastructure for Swarm for this solution. Maybe others don't trust these providers and they want to take back control and be full responsible what they're doing. They can just spin up their own, and that's it. You can build incentive layers on top of this. So let's see how does this work. I'm gonna open the repository here, and to make everything work, we have a folder here called deploy. About just a little bit about the packages here. We have the client, of course. We have the stream uploader responsible for uploading the stream and transforming the HLS stream that Swarm can consume and the player can play. The client plays the stream, and we have a CLI and engine here. CLI is basically just utility tools that can help you make things easier to spin up a node, to talk with your infrastructure, and engines. Here we only have SRS at the moment, but later probably we'll populate it with different kind of engines based on what we want to stream or how we want to stream it. For this demo, I'm going to use SRS. Here at the deploy, everything, again, is deliverables. You can check out everything, how it works. For a Flash deploy, I advise you to do this deploy scenario here. First, you can run the deploy script setup. I run most of these in advance because there are times that there are like waiting times you have to wait. When you spin up a node, there's a time for syncing. You have to send funds, and just for the sake of this demo, I set up everything beforehand. Here, you can run and deploy the B uploader. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell. So how am I deploying here? Here we have a config file where you can set where you want to deploy. You can deploy different type of servers. You can deploy to localhost. Here, what I said is just the host name. This is a server of mine, and basically this gives the address and the target for my deployment. So now when I said deploy stream uploader, it just deployed to my SP demo server. And actually we can check this out. I come here, I SSH into my SP demo server, and behind the scene, amongst other things, of course, I see the default B uploader node. So this is a node I just deployed with this script here. Deploy script, deploy B uploader. And the next phase, what I need here, what would you need here is check the node is healthy. You can do this multiple ways. Here in the CLI, there should be like a node status, for example. It checks out that we can reach out this node, we can version about the node, and we can see that we have connected peers. It's beautiful, it's working. So now what you can do is check the address of your node. Ethereum address, because you need funds. In order to stream, you need stamp, because when uploading content to Swarm, you have to stamp it. And to have the stamp, you have to buy the stamp from our storage incentive contract. This contract is on Gnosis, and for this purpose, you need XDAI and XBZZ. You can ask us for funds for testing purposes, but also if you want to switch on your own, we have solution. I'm not sure what's the link. Maybe I'm gonna ask Aaron at the end to show us a link about this. A multiport where you can swap from most of the coins, most of the bigger coins and tokens to XBZ and XDAI. And here you can run after you founded the node. If you want to do it manually, you can use MetaMask even to send XDAI and XBZ directly to this address. And then you can run the stamp setup, which basically gonna do a test stamp setup for streaming purposes. You can see here that I already founded my node. It has 20 BZZ and a little bit done 0.1 XDAI. You don't really need much. Gnosis is really cheap, and after that, it will buy the stamp for you and then populate the environment variables with the stamp. Because I already have a stamp on this node, I just start to use that stamp. Okay, and when everything is done here, node is set up for the uploading, and the stamp is bought for the streaming. You can deploy the transcoding engine and the stream uploader. For this demo, and because of my network capabilities, I'm running everything on a VPS, but it's well tested. You can already do everything localhost as well. Meanwhile, it's deploying. It's done. I would like to show you the variables. So there are a lot of configs that you can set and do in order to configure your deployment. And of course, there are things that you have to do in order to make all of this work. So I'm just going to expose everything here and ask you not to break all of these things during the demo. The first things, stamp details. Depending on your needs, what type of stream do you want to do? You can give a stamp amount and depth, which will be basically the capacity and expiry date for your stamp. Here, it's a lower level representation. I show you amount and depth, but at the swarm docs, you can have I'll look at the depth and amount to time to volume and calculator, which is basically you come to e.docs.eatswarm.org. You can do a search here, calculators, and then do whatever you want. And then here you can calculate out that what kind of stamp is this. You can see the effective volume. This would be the effective storage capacity that you can get, and the duration and the price. If you want to think from opposite way, you can do this from the other way around. You can just give a time and how much data you want to store, and it's going to calculate you the depth and the amount, so it works vice versa as well. But I come back here. The stamp is populated, it's booked. This is where the stamp should be. And here we have a stream key. For this key, I advise you what I did here, just generate like a random private key and public key pair. It doesn't have to be anything belonging to like a normal wallet. It can be like totally random, EVM compatible key and a private and public key. This will be the owner of the stream. That's worth to mention. So this address will write the feed. This will be the owner of the stream, the content that goes to Swarm. Here on the stream list topic, this will be the topic where people will be able to find your stream. This can be anything. I'm just going to leave Swarm stream here for now. And then configurations for engine, for nodes and the clients. It depending on how you set this up. Are you on a VPS? Do you have any kind of RPC gateway setup? I highly recommend to read the READMEs, because in the READMEs there are verbose descriptions about each one of these, and you can find the best setup for your need. Most of the things perfectly fine as default, but just a quick README search and read, you can set up your own configurations for your own needs. Now everything is set up for my remote VPS, and if I check out, the connection died, so let's just wait a little bit until it resets, and until I'm coming back here. Here, for the client, this white app owner, this is the public key address. This is the public key pair of the stream key. Why does it matters? Because when I'm running the client, then these three configurations what matters. One is an access to a node. You need a node to read the content, of course. It can be anything now. It points to a VPS node that I'm running behind the scene. It can be localhost. It can live anywhere, depending you. A white app owner, this is basically the public key of the streamer. This is how you can find the streams. And here, of course, the topic. So what it says that this streamer streams with this private key on this topic, and on the client side, you can give it to anyone. You can expose this, of course, because it's a public key, and the topic name. And this will be the feed where your stream will live. This is where people will be able to find you and watch your stream. RPC endpoint, you have to communicate with Gnosis. So I'm using my own proxy setup, but you can use for this purpose any of the public RPC endpoints as well. And because my server is on Hetzner, I have to configure NAT address, and I'm running multiple things on this server. So I started to customize my port numbers and stuff. It's really depending on your infrastructure. If it's on localhost, there is a config sample for README, and you can use that to spin up everything on your own. So the connection finally died. I can open this again. And here we can see that I'm running the stream uploader. The the strong transcoding engine, NSRS, and the nodes. And just let's speak into these containers that if they're really doing what they have to do, yes, it's running and listening on 3000, waiting for segments from the SRS engine, the transcoding engine. Let's see the engine. It's just for my own sake, checking them everything works as it should. Yes, it has started and waiting for OBS to connect and start transcoding. And let's see the node as well. The node can spit out a lot of things, so I'm just gonna use a tail here. Yes, it looks healthy. I mean, maybe it's not looks healthy to you, but if you work with Swarm enough, then this will be healthy for you as well. Okay, so now everything is set up. I can start OBS here. Hello, guys. And in the settings, you have to set an address where your SRS engine running, because it's now on my VPS. I have the address of my VPS, the port, the protocol, SRT is used, and it's all of these settings are SRS specific. Here, you will be able to build like proper authenticated streams if you want. You can give other options how your engine should listen on the stream. It's another layer, application layer level of problems and things, depending on what kind of products or services you're building. For the core and for testing purposes, this is a perfectly good link here. And I start streaming. So let's see what's happening here. Let's check again let's see the SRS1, the engine. So what you can see, the engine is accepting OBS, and then immediately pushes the stream to the stream uploader. We can see this on HLS pushes and the awk messages. This is why I wanted to see. It's beautiful. And here are the stream uploader. If I check the stream uploader, we should see that these segments are pushed here, and the uploader actually formatting the segments, uploading to Swarm, and making the manifest. So everything works perfectly. So now we have the streaming set up, the streaming provider set up. Streaming is on. Now we can start consuming it. So what I have to do here is coming to the client. I'm going to start running the client. Here on my local host. And actually, it's already open here. I'm going to open this here. And now it should load the stream. So this is a stream list. So basically, this is the public. When I added the public key and the stream topic, that made a feed, and this is the feed where all of these streams are written. And here we can see that this is the two tests, and this is the live stream straight coming from Swarm. If you check the requests and the stream starts, then we should see that the segments are coming from my node. And here I could choose whatever B node that I want to choose. Now I'm using my own VPS, but you can set whatever you want. So this is the streaming, and why I say that is to Migla that you could technically stream and set the voting out. Yeah, I mean, here there are a couple of configs and things that are not totally obvious to anyone, and maybe you need a little bit more technical to spin this up. But here is the thing. Decentralization, if you want to go full decentralized and want to take full control back, that comes with responsibility, not just the responsibility of owning your data, but the responsibility of owning your infrastructure as well. And then I see this as a plane. And this plane, Migla could ask me that, hey, Lavi, it's really, really hard to do this. I don't really want to do this, and I'm not sure if I can. But could you please give me the address of your spinned up server, and could I please use that to stream? And yeah, so in this sense, I become a provider for Migla. And if Migla don't trust me, she could spin up the whole providing stuff for herself. And in this sense, multiple providers could emerge, a marketplace could build on top of this. We can introduce incentive systems. So it's really depending on the use cases and the approach, what you want to do and how you want to do it. Just I'm gonna stop this. It's really eating the bandwidth here. Another version, this is the crypto way. This is, for example, a thing, which is an example of what you could build for crypto Mondays. This is what we built, for example. Here you can already have a little bit more refined. The foundation is basically the same what I showed you, but here feature-wise, already a nice stream list where you can see these events that we live stream, and here we already have chat built under it. People can chat decentralized same way, and here we already introduced identities where you can check out your streams and you can edit your streams. You can make placeholders, you can delete them, not from Swarm, of course, just from the client. And the stamp management. This is another really nice project that we are working on, so you don't have to buy and spin up the things behind the scene. So this is what I really wanted to show you guys, and I guess that would be it from the demo. About future works, we are working hard on V4 now, trying to enhance and improve the core, so it could provide good quality and stable streams. We want to benchmark it and stress test this so we can ensure and prove with numbers that you could bring this technology and this solution to bigger events and stream in front of hundreds of thousands of people through this solution. And then we start focusing on the features, bring this to the client in a way that you can watch and use the stream fully centralized. Or if you don't want to do that, you can rely on RPCs and gateways and make everything fully customizable and modularized. So give back the freedom, because from my point of view, freedom is not just achieving full decentralization, because that's just making another choice for you. It's what I would believe, that freedom is about giving you the choice to do whatever you want. And on a plane, maybe Migla don't want to spin up her own infrastructure and deal with all the responsibilities of maintaining this infrastructure. She's completely fine to trust SolarPunk and use us as providers. But other providers, of course, as I mentioned, can grow out from the plane as well. And feature-wise, we are bringing the node to the browser, so you don't have to, on the viewer side also, you don't have to work around gateways. The whole thing can spin up immediately. I guess the closest project that could achieve this is the Freedom browser. You could open and watch the stream basically already just from the browser without dealing with any of the configurations of a node. The identity provider here for this solution, for example, how the identity and things are happening behind the scene is semi-decentralized and quite complex. But with new solutions, we're heavily reducing the need of these complex solutions and centralization also. And a lot of other really interesting features, like a notification system that we realized that it's needed for Swarm and for these solutions, and a lot of other feedbacks that we just heard during Git Prague. So yeah, keep in touch. If you have any kind of ideas, feedbacks, let us know, contact us, and probably we can help you. And of course, your feedback matters a lot, because this is then you become part of this journey. This is how we can shape this technology and these solutions to achieve a stage that everyone can work with and solve all these Web2-like problems that I just stated during the presentation. And that would be the demo, and I would like to give back the word to Mila.
Thank you so much, Levante, for the whole workshop. In fact, I was able to follow most of it. And indeed, I am happy to see that there's different options as well, and that you touched upon. I had some questions ready, but to be fair, you touched upon what are some of the weakest points, and what are the currently features that we're building. And I just want to tell all the people once again, especially if you're watching this later on, Here is our Discord QR code. I'm going to ask to put that on to the screen once again. And if you guys have any questions that you would like our team to answer, if you want to stress test something, if you have something to go within the details of feasibility, just ask any of those technical or non-technical questions in our Discord. Lavanta, if people were to start building today, what first feature or mm, project you would like to see people building?
There is a project that's really close to me, and I just don't have the capacity to start working on it. I would like to see YouTube on Swarm. We have everything to do that. You can build the interface, the profiles, the videos, video on demand and live as well. You can do gated content, subscription, comment system, everything is there. You just have to put the whole thing together. It would be really, really nice to see finally decentralized media content for the community. I guess it's really needed, and the technology is there, just work has to be done.
I hear you. I think that was my answer as well, either YouTube or Twitch, to make it easier for people and to have the power, the complete and full power, right? I think when YouTube first started, the ethos of how YouTube should function, that to give this power to the people was there, and we kind of lost that on the way. And I feel like with a decentralization, we would never have that human contact of becoming more selfish as it has happened, right? So I agree with you. And then before we jump out as well, I wanted to ask one very realistic check-in. How far do you think we are from having a strong enough network to be able to stream events live? So let's say, when can we expect that DevCon talks will be streamed through our solution?
And we are already actively working on testing and benchmarks. And according to our roadmap, I would say end of this year probably. But I'm already working on a thinner solution. I don't want to expose this or give any hopes that this will happen, but my hope is that maybe next DevCon Mumbai we could show something really cool. But I don't really want to expose that. But
all right.
during
I like that you don't want to overpromise. Yeah,
yes,
you're being.
I don't want to overpromise because I don't know. It's a lot of research and work has to be done, and
Right.
I'm just unsure if we are able to do this, but maybe we can, and we are working hard to achieve all of these
Right.
things.
Right. It's rather remarkable. I think what we've showed today and what is capable is only the small, tiny piece in a massive ocean of what we can do with a decentralized streaming and storage of this type of data. So I would urge everyone to rewatch the workshop again, send it to your friends, pick it up at the next hackathon, and go ahead and build the next decentralized YouTube or next decentralized Twitch. Levante, thank you so much for joining us and giving such a humanly understandable workshop as well. So again, even non-techies can go ahead and understand and comprehend this. I do hope this was helpful for our community, and this comes to an end to all of our workshops that we've had. You can find all of them in our Twitter and in YouTube. So if you want to rewatch, there's everything from Swarm 101. Lavanta, you wanted to say a word?
Yeah, just one more thing, that maybe if anyone will watch this stream, if you could please give us feedback about the approach here. Was it good that I did not really went really deep into technicals and started to make you understand Swarm like on the lowest level, or the APIs and stuff on the level, just give you a brief introduction on everything, or if you would be more interested in actually going really deep in technicals? So just what should be the good approach here? That's what I'm really curious about.
Indeed, we make these workshops really for you guys, and we want to make more of them if you're interested as well. We saw during the hackathon that there was quite of a demand and people were curious. However, it really, really matters if you leave a comment, if positive or negative. It's something so important for us to see that all of the work that we're putting in the background is being heard and reviewed and stress tested. So we don't want to put anything into production that is not stress test, and you guys are the ones that are making the test necessary to take this to the next steps. So thank you, Lavante. Thank you, our community, for watching. And I hope that you guys rewatch the workshops, start implementing it, and truly, truly decentralize every aspect of your tech stack from the front end of your website to the way you're streaming. We have the technology. Now it's up to you to take the next step. Thank you so much. And I will see you in Berlin Blockchain Week. That's the next physical space where you will be able to see and talk to the Swarm folks. Thank you so much.